Ladies and gentlemen, today I want to talk about something so simple, yet so powerful that it has the potential to transform your life. It's the idea that small steps lead to big changes. Think about it. How do you climb a mountain? Not in one giant leap, but step by step. In the same way, in the journey of education, success isn't achieved overnight. It's the small, consistent actions we take every day that pave the way to greatness. Let's take studying as an example. Imagine you have an exam coming up in 3 months. The idea of preparing for it can feel overwhelming, but what if you decide to study just one topic a day? That small step, repeated consistently, will lead to mastery of the entire syllabus by the time the exam arrives. You see, small efforts compound over time, creating a ripple effect that leads to remarkable outcomes. Science backs this up. Our brains thrive on incremental learning. When we take in information in smaller, manageable chunks, we're more likely to retain it. That's why techniques like spaced repetition are so effective. They align with how our minds naturally process and store knowledge. But here's the magic of small steps. They don't just bring results, they also build motivation. Each time you achieve a small win, like solving a tough math problem or finishing a chapter, it fuels your confidence. It tells you, yes, I can do this. And with every small victory, your momentum grows. Small steps also teach us patience. In a world obsessed with instant results, the idea of gradual progress might seem outdated. But real, lasting success takes time, whether it's mastering a language, writing a research paper, or acing a test. The key is steady, focused effort over the long haul. So, how can we apply this? Start today. Choose one small, meaningful action that aligns with your goal. It might be reading one page of a textbook, reviewing one flashcard, or writing just one sentence. Then do it again tomorrow, and the next day, and the day after that. Remember, success isn't about massive leaps, it's about tiny steps taken with purpose and consistency. So take that first step. Because as the saying goes, a journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. Thank you. The importance of starting small. In education, massive goals like mastering a subject or preparing for an exam can feel overwhelming. By breaking down these goals into smaller, achievable tasks, progress becomes manageable. For example, instead of aiming to complete an entire syllabus in a week, focus on studying one chapter or even one concept per day. Small beginnings are the foundation of great achievements. Consistency is the key to success. Education thrives on regular effort. Small, consistent steps ensure steady progress. A student practicing math problems daily for 30 minutes will see more improvement than one cramming the night before an exam. Regular effort builds discipline, confidence, and mastery over time, proving that persistence in small doses outperforms bursts of effort. Small wins build motivation. Achieving smaller milestones creates a sense of accomplishment that fuels motivation. Completing a short essay, solving a tricky question, or successfully learning a new formula are all small wins that inspire further action. Celebrating these small victories helps maintain momentum and reinforces the belief that progress is possible. The science of learning, incremental growth. Cognitive science shows that our brains absorb and retain information better when it is presented in smaller, digestible chunks. Techniques like spaced repetition and active recall leverage this principle. For instance, studying for 20 minutes daily is far more effective than attempting to learn everything in one sitting. This approach respects the brain's natural rhythm of learning and memory. Long-term impact of small habits. Small, consistent habits lead to transformative results over time. Reading one page daily might seem trivial, but it adds up to reading 365 pages in a year, equivalent to a full book. Similarly, writing 100 words a day could lead to completing a novel. Small efforts compound over time, leading to big, life-changing outcomes. In the realm of education, the importance of starting small cannot be overstated. When faced with the enormity of academic goals, such as mastering an entire subject or preparing for a critical examination, the sheer scale of the task can often lead to feelings of overwhelm and paralysis. However, breaking down these massive goals into smaller, more manageable steps provides a clear and attainable path forward. This approach not only makes the process less intimidating, but also establishes a structure that encourages consistent progress. Imagine a student tasked with preparing for a history exam covering 10 chapters. Approaching all 10 chapters at once is daunting and may lead to procrastination or ineffective cramming. On the other hand, focusing on one chapter at a time, or even a single section of a chapter, creates a sense of clarity and focus. This smaller, targeted goal feels achievable and allows the student to channel their energy into completing it successfully. By concentrating on smaller portions, they are more likely to retain the material, as they can give it the attention it deserves without feeling rushed or overwhelmed. Starting small also allows for the development of positive habits that become second nature over time. For instance, a student who dedicates just 15 minutes a day to reviewing notes or solving problems will soon find this practice seamlessly integrated into their routine. While 15 minutes may seem insignificant in isolation, the cumulative effect over weeks or months is transformative. This gradual buildup fosters a habit of regular engagement with the material, which is critical for long-term success in education. Additionally, beginning with small steps lays the groundwork for building confidence. Accomplishing a small task, like solving a single math problem or completing a short reading assignment, generates a sense of accomplishment. This feeling of success reinforces the belief that progress is possible, motivating the individual to take on the next step. Over time, these small victories accumulate, creating a positive cycle of achievement and motivation that propels the learner forward. The concept of starting small is also supported by psychological principles. When a task feels too large, our brains tend to perceive it as a threat, triggering stress and avoidance behaviors. Breaking the task into smaller components reduces this perception, making it easier to engage with the work. This principle is particularly important in education, where the ability to approach challenges with a calm and focused mindset is essential for effective learning. Furthermore, starting small allows for the refinement of skills and strategies without the pressure of immediate perfection. For example, a student learning to write essays might begin by crafting a strong thesis statement before moving on to develop full paragraphs. This gradual approach enables them to build a solid foundation and refine their skills step by step, ensuring steady improvement without feeling overwhelmed. In conclusion, starting small is not just a practical strategy, it is a powerful mindset. It transforms seemingly insurmountable goals into achievable milestones, fosters positive habits, and builds confidence through incremental success. In education, this approach is invaluable as it empowers students to tackle their academic challenges with clarity, focus, and determination. By embracing the principle of starting small, learners unlock the potential for profound growth and achievement. Consistency is a cornerstone of success in education. It is not the grand, sporadic efforts that yield lasting results, but rather the small, steady actions taken consistently over time. When students commit to regular study routines, they develop a rhythm that not only enhances their understanding of the material, but also builds discipline and confidence. This idea, simple yet profound, consistent effort, even in small doses, accumulates into significant achievements over time. Consider the example of a student preparing for an exam. Many students fall into the trap of cramming, attempting to learn vast amounts of information in a short time. While this may result in some temporary retention, it does little for long-term understanding. Instead, a consistent approach, studying for 30 minutes to an hour daily, allows the brain to absorb and process information more effectively. By breaking the material into manageable portions and reviewing it consistently, the student avoids the stress and chaos of last-minute preparation while solidifying their knowledge base. Consistency also plays a key role in building habits. When actions are repeated daily, they become second nature. For example, a student who sets aside time each evening to review notes or practice problems will find that this activity becomes part of their routine. Over time, the effort required to initiate the task diminishes, and it becomes an automatic part of their day. This habit formation is crucial because it reduces the mental resistance often associated with starting a task, making it easier to sustain progress. Moreover, consistency is essential for skill mastery. In fields like mathematics, science, or language learning, regular practice is the key to internalizing concepts and improving performance. For instance, solving a few math problems each day builds familiarity with formulas and problem-solving techniques, making complex calculations less intimidating. Similarly, language learners who dedicate time daily to practicing vocabulary, grammar, or conversation skills see far greater improvement than those who engage in sporadic, intense study sessions. The brain thrives on repetition, and consistent practice ensures that knowledge and skills are retained and readily accessible. Another significant advantage of consistency is the confidence it builds. Each small step taken consistently contributes to a sense of achievement. When students see themselves making progress, whether it's completing a set of practice questions, understanding a challenging concept, or improving their test scores, they feel empowered to continue. This positive reinforcement creates a cycle of motivation and effort, where the act of consistent practice becomes both the means and the reward. Consistency also helps students manage their time and reduce stress. By spreading out their workload over days or weeks, they avoid the pressure and anxiety of trying to accomplish everything at once. This steady approach allows for better planning and deeper engagement with the material. It provides room for reflection, revision, and growth, ensuring that learning is not rushed but meaningful and thorough. In education, consistency is the bridge between effort and success. It transforms small, everyday actions into remarkable outcomes and fosters the habits and discipline necessary for lifelong learning. By committing to regular, focused effort, students unlock their potential and lay the groundwork for sustained academic and personal achievement. Small wins play a crucial role in building motivation, especially in the context of education. These seemingly minor achievements act as stepping stones that create momentum and keep learners engaged. Each small win is a tangible sign of progress, serving as a reminder that effort yields results. This sense of accomplishment inspires confidence and encourages students to continue striving toward their goals, even when the journey feels challenging or overwhelming. In education, progress often comes in small, incremental steps. For instance, completing a single homework assignment, solving a difficult problem, or memorizing a list of vocabulary words might not seem significant in isolation. However, these small victories add up over time and contribute to a larger sense of achievement. They create a chain reaction where each accomplishment fuels the motivation to take on the next task. This incremental progress not only helps students stay on track, but also instills a sense of pride and satisfaction in their work. The psychological impact of small wins cannot be overstated. When students achieve even a modest goal, their brains release dopamine, a neurotransmitter associated with feelings of pleasure and reward. This dopamine boost reinforces the behavior that led to the success, making it more likely that the student will continue to engage in similar actions. For example, a student who successfully completes a challenging math problem experiences a sense of reward that motivates them to tackle the next one. Over time, this positive feedback loop builds confidence and resilience, making it easier to persist in the face of difficulties. Small wins also help students develop a growth mindset, the belief that abilities and intelligence can be developed through effort and learning. When students experience success, even on a small scale, they begin to see themselves as capable and competent. This shift in mindset is particularly important when facing larger goals, as it reduces the fear of failure and encourages a focus on progress rather than perfection. A student who recognizes their capacity to improve through consistent effort is more likely to embrace challenges and persevere when faced with setbacks. Another important aspect of small wins is their role in breaking down larger goals into manageable pieces. Academic goals, such as mastering a subject or completing a major project, can feel overwhelming when viewed as a whole. However, by dividing these goals into smaller tasks and celebrating each completed step, students can maintain their motivation and momentum. For instance, a student working on a research paper might start by creating an outline, then move on to writing a draft of the introduction. Each completed step represents a small win that brings them closer to the final goal. Moreover, recognizing and celebrating small wins fosters a positive attitude toward learning. It shifts the focus from what remains to be done to what has already been achieved. This perspective not only boosts morale but also reinforces the value of persistence and effort. It reminds students that progress is a process, and every step forward is a victory worth acknowledging. In conclusion, small wins are powerful motivators that drive progress and build confidence in education. They provide tangible evidence of success, create a sense of momentum, and encourage a growth-oriented mindset. By focusing on and celebrating these incremental achievements, students can stay motivated and engaged, ultimately reaching their larger goals with determination and optimism. The science of learning reveals that incremental growth is one of the most effective strategies for mastering new concepts and skills. Our brains are wired to absorb information gradually through repeated exposure and reinforcement. In the context of education, this means that breaking down complex material into smaller, more manageable chunks allows learners to process and retain information more effectively. Incremental growth not only aligns with how the brain functions, but also fosters a deeper and more lasting understanding of the subject matter. When students attempt to learn everything at once, they often experience cognitive overload. This occurs because the brain can only process a limited amount of information at any given time. Overloading the brain leads to frustration and diminished retention. Incremental learning addresses this issue by presenting information in smaller portions, giving the brain the time it needs to encode and store the material. For instance, instead of trying to memorize an entire chapter of a textbook in one sitting, a student might focus on a single section or key concept. This approach reduces mental strain and enhances focus, making learning more efficient and enjoyable. One proven method of incremental learning is spaced repetition. This technique involves revisiting information at increasing intervals over time. By spacing out study sessions, learners reinforce their memory just as it begins to fade, strengthening neural connections and improving long-term retention. For example, a student learning vocabulary words might review them daily for the first week, then every other day, and finally once a week. This gradual exposure ensures that the information moves from short-term to long-term memory, becoming more firmly embedded with each repetition. Another powerful technique is active recall, which requires learners to retrieve information from memory without relying on prompts. This process strengthens memory by forcing the brain to work harder, creating stronger neural pathways. For instance, instead of rereading notes passively, a student might quiz themselves on key points or attempt to explain a concept in their own words. Active recall, combined with incremental growth, ensures that learning is not only about memorization, but also about understanding and application. Incremental growth also allows students to build confidence as they progress. Mastering one small piece of information at a time creates a sense of achievement that motivates further effort. For example, a student learning to solve algebraic equations might start with basic problems before gradually tackling more complex ones. Each successful attempt reinforces their belief in their abilities, encouraging them to persevere through challenges. This gradual buildup of skills and knowledge creates a solid foundation for tackling larger, more ambitious goals. Moreover, incremental learning fosters adaptability and resilience. By focusing on manageable steps, students develop a habit of consistent effort and continuous improvement. This mindset is particularly valuable in an ever-changing world where lifelong learning is essential. Incremental growth teaches students to approach challenges with patience and determination, understanding that progress takes time but yields lasting results. In conclusion, the science of learning emphasizes the importance of incremental growth in education. By breaking down material into smaller steps and using techniques like spaced repetition and active recall, students can enhance their understanding, retention, and confidence. This approach not only aligns with the brain's natural learning processes, but also equips learners with the tools and mindset needed for sustained success. Incremental growth is a powerful strategy that transforms the learning journey into a series of achievable milestones, making even the most complex goals attainable. Small, consistent habits have a profound long-term impact, creating a ripple effect that leads to transformative results over time. In education, these habits form the foundation for sustainable growth and achievement. While the initial impact of small actions may seem minor, their cumulative effect can drive significant progress and lasting success. The concept is simple but powerful. Small efforts repeated consistently over time create remarkable outcomes. One of the key reasons small habits have such a significant impact is their ability to integrate seamlessly into daily life. When a habit is small and manageable, it is easier to adopt and sustain. For example, a student might start by committing to read one page of a textbook each day. While reading a single page may appear trivial, this daily practice builds a routine. Over time, it becomes second nature, requiring little effort or motivation to continue. This habit, once established, can be expanded to include additional pages, topics, or study sessions, leading to substantial learning over months and years. Another advantage of small habits is their capacity to compound over time. Just as compound interest in finance turns small investments into significant wealth, consistent effort in education yields exponential growth. Consider a student who spends 15 minutes a day practicing a new language. In a single day, this might amount to learning a few words or phrases. However, over the course of a year, those 15 minutes add up to over 90 hours of focused practice. The cumulative effect of this seemingly minor daily habit results in significant language proficiency, far exceeding what could be achieved in sporadic, intensive study sessions. Small habits are also crucial for overcoming inertia and building momentum. Large goals, such as completing a degree or mastering a subject, can feel overwhelming and unattainable when viewed in their entirety. Breaking these goals into smaller, actionable steps makes them more approachable. For instance, a student aiming to write a research paper might start by dedicating 10 minutes a day to brainstorming ideas. This initial step, though small, breaks the cycle of procrastination and creates momentum, making it easier to move on to subsequent tasks like drafting and revising. Additionally, small habits foster a sense of accomplishment and motivation. Each time a student completes a small task, they experience a sense of progress that reinforces their commitment to the larger goal. These small wins create a positive feedback loop, where the satisfaction of completing a task encourages continued effort. Over time, this cycle of effort and reward builds confidence and resilience, empowering students to tackle even greater challenges. Perhaps most importantly, small habits are sustainable. Grand efforts can lead to burnout, especially when they require significant time and energy. In contrast, small habits are easy to maintain even during busy or stressful periods. This sustainability ensures consistent progress, preventing the setbacks that often result from overambitious plans. In conclusion, the power of small habits lies in their ability to drive consistent, incremental progress that compounds over time. They integrate seamlessly into daily life, build momentum, and foster a sense of achievement, making them a powerful tool for sustained growth in education. By embracing small, manageable habits, students can achieve their long-term goals while cultivating a mindset of continuous improvement and adaptability. These habits are the foundation for lifelong learning and success, proving that even the smallest actions can lead to monumental changes.